Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the day is here. We're going to be traveling to New York to talk about the number one team in the AL East, the New York Yankees. With a 94-68 record, we were able to get by the Royals in the ALDS 3-1. We were able to get by the Indians in the ALCS 4-1. And then, unfortunately, we ran into the gambling leader of Major League Baseball and the Dodgers, Mr. Shohei Ohtani. That was a buzzsaw because he's good if you haven't noticed. Well, everyone knows that Shohei Ohtani is good and everyone knows Aaron Judge is good. Let's be real. What are you going to remember most, or what do you remember most from the World Series? The Game 5 drop in the outfield on a routine fly ball by Aaron Judge. Fun fact, that was his one and only error of the season. Unfortunate because his monstrous season is going to be literally remembered for that one play. Which, not going to say that was the single play that allowed us to give up the lead and obviously lose, but that was definitely a catalyst. That drop did allow some more runs to come in and eventually tie the game. We had a 5-run lead. We no longer had a 5-run lead. Just because that one play happened, just like Steve Bartman with the Cubs, didn't mean that was the end-all be-all. There were other opportunities, and we just didn't take advantage of them like the Dodgers did. As much as I would love to continue talk about how much we should have won this, and absolutely how I despise the fans who try to rip the ball out of Mookie Betts' hands and do all that crap, they should absolutely be banned from any games forever, never, any and all games, not only baseball. Little league games. They should be banned from NFL. They should be banned everywhere. Not ever go anywhere in Walmart. Ban them. Everyone ban them. But again, as much as I would like to talk about how it wasn't our fault and we got cheated, we didn't. We straight up lost. However, there was a lot of good to talk about this past year. So let's go ahead and get to the team stat leaders. Aaron Judge led in a lot of stuff. Surprise, surprise. The only thing he didn't lead in was doubles and stolen bases. That was Anthony Volpe. Let's go ahead and take a little deeper dive in Aaron Judge, then we'll get to everyone else, because I said I wasn't going to hit on the major stars, but this is a guy that absolutely could improve. Now, how can you improve on 322, 50-plus home runs, 100-plus RBIs? Like, how can you do that? Well, probably the same way people are thinking in 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 23, because they were down seasons. It's hard to look at 2017, his rookie year, 52 home runs and 100-plus RBIs, and then look at 22 with a 300-plus batting average and 62 home runs, and then 24, where again, 50-plus home runs, 100-plus RBIs, and a 300-plus batting average. It's hard to say, whoa, you can get better than that, but let's be real, everyone expects them to. As much as I would love for Judge to replicate those stats, I don't expect it. It was a tough season, man. He also doesn't have the protection in the lineup like he did with Soto before, so he's going to now have even more pressure on him. And I, again, don't see those stats anywhere near what he did before. Now, do I hope they are? Yes, I do. Because I'm a Yankees fan. I want Judge to do well. And if he's doing poorly, the team's doing poorly. If he's doing well, the team's usually doing well. So, we're going to look and hope and pray that we find somebody else to help him. The 2024 Yankees didn't do a ton to help. They all did contribute. Obviously, got to the World Series, so everyone had to do some of their part. But they didn't help as much as they could have. 3 guys that didn't quite help Judge out as much as they could have. There were some young guys, there were some veterans, and there were guys that came over for 1 year and just forgot how to play ball. First guy we're going to talk about is Anthony Volpe. It's tough to play shortstop in New York. You have to follow in the footsteps of Mr. Derek Jeter. Now, Volpe did a pretty good job of the plate. He did play in more games in 2024, so he had more at-bats, so he had more hits, and did raise his average, which is great. However, he did not hit as many home runs. He dropped by 9, and also dropped his OPS. So with the loss of home runs, the OPS drops. Therefore, the on-base percentage and the production that you provide for your team drops. Now, it wasn't huge, but we're talking about what you did last year and what you failed to do this year. Another young infielder, at least under 30, who has been in the MLB and with the organization for at least 6 years now is Gleyber Torres. I believe his rookie year was like 2018, 2019. So he knows what the expectations are in New York, and he was pretty consistent over his years. However, 2024, he's just dropped off. For 23-24, Gleyber dropped 10 home runs, 25-15, added almost 40 strikeouts, scoring 98 to 136, and his stolen bases fell from 13 to 4. Now, those don't sound like the biggest numbers. However, in a game situation where it's close, a stolen base putting you in scoring position, not leaving the guys on the base, hitting some home runs, getting some runs run, those are huge. Gleyber could have done more from 23 to 24, and he didn't. And that might very well be why he's in Detroit now. Another guy that's no longer with the Yankees is Alex Verdugo. Now, he did his damage against us when he was in the Red Sox uniform, came over here and just couldn't find his groove at the plate. Now, the counting stats all looked about the same. However, he did all this in fewer games with a 230 batting average. Imagine what he could have done with a 280, 290 batting average is what we saw earlier in his career. That would be great, but we didn't see that, and now he's with the Braves, so guess we won't see it. And I guess we'll see his beard now, too. The last guy we're going in depth about is Anthony Rizzo. Now, personally, I love Anthony Rizzo. Love his fight, love his drive, love the fact he was able to come back from cancer, and love the fact he was able to win a World Series when he was with the Cubs. But here's the thing. He did bring that Cub magic over to New York. In his 4 years here, 3 of those 4 years, he hit 12 or less home runs, had 41 or less RBIs, and played in 99 or less games. Woo! Dude, you're supposed to be in a power hitting position with a short porch? Come on, man. What are you doing? Like, you should be doing better. Now, granted, he's a little older. Injuries did hamper him a little bit. And frankly, he was not able to get in much of a rhythm. He did have one good year. He had 20, 30 home runs, 70 plus RBIs. He had 248, 244, something like that. So he was doing well that year. And we did well that year as well. But again, man, need that consistency. We talked about that. You set a standard, people expect it. 3 more guys that were pretty big disappointments in 24 were Oswaldo Cabrera, Giancarlo Stanton, which I hated that signing anyway. Can't stand the guy. He had one good season, now he's like the best hitter in the world. No, absolutely not. Wish we would have never gotten him. And then, of course, DJ LeMahieu, who's literally a shell of his former self. Now, on the other hand, a big surprise we had was catcher Austin Wells. In his rookie year, he was able to play pretty well behind the plate. He did commit several errors, 11, but he was able to contribute 55 RBIs, 13 home runs, and had a pretty guy at the plate striking out less than 100 times with 87. He did also contribute 47 walks, which gave him a plus 700 OPS, which is good. There are talks about him being the leadoff hitter this year. I don't like that because he's not the Kyle Schwarber type. Moving to pitching, I feel like our pitching rotation is always hyped up, always supposed to be amazing, always something we're supposed to have worked on, but it never comes to fruition. Now, granted, we did have a lot of guys on the IL last year. Before we get to those, let's talk about the team leaders. Nestor Cortez led the team in ERA and WHIP and losses. Carlos Rodon led the team in everything else. Holds went to Luke Weaver, and saves went to shaky Clay Holmes. So, as far as the guys on the IL, we had 16 pitchers go on the IL for us. And in 24, with those 16 pitchers on the IL, many of them were shorter. However, there were some longer stays or even delays to the season. Garrett Cole didn't make his first start in 2024 until June 19th. Then Clark Schmidt missed all of June, July, and August, while Jonathan Loaizaga pitched 3 innings and then was out the rest of the season. That's not great. There were some guys that missed only the minimum stay on the IL. Nestor Cortez, Jake Cousins, and then, of course, we got Mr. Luis Hill. But even in those 15 days or 2 weeks of missed time, how are you going to fill that void in the rotation and or in the bullpen? Especially if there is a void in the rotation, so the bullpen is taxed more. Those, even short stays, can impact us so much even in 2 weeks. The guy we're going to have to lean on in 2025 because of injuries, at least to start the season, is Diva Marcus Stroman. Now, there is a video on YouTube, so on the same platform, that you can watch. There's a guy that outlined the whole villain arc of Stroman and how he was tweeting and how he had press conferences and how he's made media appearances and he said this and that. And essentially, he talks about how he's got tough skin, but dude, you're definitely getting into your feelings. It's ridiculous. Get over it. You're an athlete. You need to just do what you need to do. And by that, I mean, you're a pitcher, so let's pitch the ball. Let's throw strikes. Let's get out. When Stroman landed in New York, I expected him to be pretty decent. He was a career 3.5 ERA guy with a 1.2, 1.3 whip, so I expected decent. Well, in 29 starts, he did get 10 wins. Somehow. Because he had a 4+ ERA and a 1.47 whip. Holy cow. He did pitch 154 innings, and in those 154 innings, he struck out 113 batters. He also walked 60. So you gave up more than half of the number of walks as the number of strikeouts. Oh my God. That's awful. Unfortunately, we are going to have to lean on him to start the season. He said he wasn't going to the bullpen. Well, sir, I hope once we get healthy, we ship you out somewhere because I can't stand you. Let's somehow add you for a Sandy Alcantara. Or, I don't know, dude. I might take Trevor Rogers. And we talked about how bad he was. Trade Marcus Stroman for Trevor Rogers. At least we can throw Rogers in the bullpen. My gosh. Speaking of the bullpen, whenever I did watch these guys, I absolutely worried every single second. I also feel like if the bullpen for the Yankees was a house, it would have been built on a fault line. While not always shaky, as there are times of stability, it was always up for some shakiness, always up for some literally blowing up and collapsing and not ever doing anything what you need to do. So Clay Holmes as a closer was absolutely nerve-wracking, but he wasn't that bad. Okay, he blew like 11 saves. But the point is, he closed games. He had 30 saves. He pitched like 60-plus innings, 70-plus Ks. He gave up quite a few walks, 22, and gave up 60 hits. So literally always gave a walk or a hit. And his ERA was 3+. So again, it wasn't sexy. And it was always nerve-wracking. But there were guys behind him that obviously good enough to get in there, right? So Tommy Kahnle technically did do better ERA and whip-wise, but he also gave up 19 walks. Well, that was 20 less innings than Clay Holmes. So 3 less walks in 20 less innings. Ooh, that's not great. Jake Cousins, on the other hand, also did very well. He had at least 12 strikeouts per 9, but then we get to walks again, right? Yeah. He gave up walks and even less innings than Tommy Kahnle, so that's not great. If there's one guy I would lay down my fantasy life for in this bullpen, it would be Luke Weaver. Coming over from the Cardinals organization, he was a starter, then he was a reliever, and he's been great for our bullpen. In his 2024 season, he landed 22 holds. In 84 innings pitched, he had 103 strikeouts. He also did only give up 26 walks, so still in the 20s, but double the number of innings that Kahnle and Cousins and all those other guys pitched. So here's the thing. He had a sub-3 ERA and a sub-1 whip, so he was not letting anyone get on base, or at least not many at all. I would love to see Luke Weaver in the closer position, but with Clay Holmes leaving, I thought that was going to be an opportunity, and nope. They brought in Devin Williams, which we'll get to in a second. Overall, his bullpen, very good with their addition of Devin Williams, with also the addition of Fernando Cruz from Cincinnati. These two guys, along with Weaver and potentially Kahnle, they could absolutely be a formidable bullpen that, if the rotation can get to them with the lead, they could absolutely close it out. Speaking of starting pitchers being able to get to the relievers, they added a few guys. Max Fried being the biggest name. He's coming over from Atlanta. Also, Mr. Carlos Carrasco. Now, that's an old guy. Not going to lie, he's old, but I love also his story coming back from cancer, doing well with the Indians for so long, doing decently with the Mets, and finally getting a chance with my New York Yankees. I'm excited. I really want to see him pitch well. I remember him doing so well against us in Cleveland, so again, I'm rooting for you, Carlos. Some of the best we brought in include Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt is pretty old, but he still has durability. I think he's going to do great, especially hitting in Yankee Stadium. He's going to be able to look at his 2024 numbers and laugh because he is going to surpass them. The strongest part for this Yankees team this upcoming year is going to be the bullpen. The starting pitching is going to be the weakest point, and the bats obviously have to be one of the stronger points because can't be much worse than the pitching. I mean, so many guys on the IL, my goodness. So it's going to be important for Judge to stay healthy. It's going to be important for Bellinger and Goldschmidt to bounce back from not bad years, but subpar years, what they're expected. And then we need Volpe to step up as well. We need to get some home runs. We need to get some stolen bases. Most importantly, we need Jazz Chisholm to be the third baseman, outfielder, shortstop, whatever you're going to play, to be better. You played in 46 games last year, probably because of injury, but we need you, man. I personally don't like you, but we need you to play better. Think we're going to win the division again? It might be tough with the Red Sox now getting another power hitter, but we'll see. The pitching is what's going to hold us back. The starting pitching, not the relievers. Now that we're done with the AL East, we're going to be heading to the final division. We're going to be heading to the NL West, home of the gambling leaders of Major League Baseball, the Dodgers. We're going to be starting with the NL East, fifth place team, the Colorado Rockies. So I look forward to seeing you again. This is JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.